Welcome to my channel and our annual forecast for 2024. We will get straight into it. There are a few areas that we look at in our annual forecast. Mainly, we look at the conflicts around the world, geographical, financial markets, and local events. By the way, this is the first time that we will be unveiling our forecast to the public. In the past, our last forecast was for the COVID years in 2020, which has received much comments and feedback. So this is the first time we are unveiling it straight to the public through social media. Right, so there are things that we look at. Our measurement is based on cycles, based on data, collection of data, historical patterns, and events that have repeatedly occurred in a certain time frame. So we look at cycles, we look at patterns, and present it here for you. Right, knowing about the future is something which we have anticipate in whatever that we do. The future is always a question, but much based on data, a lot can show us about probability and possibility. Nothing is absolute, but the probability can be very high. As a form of measurement, time measurement, we use the Chinese lunar calendar, which we found to be most accurate from our past forecasts. And the Chinese lunar calendar, or the Chinese astrological cycle, is based on a 12 years cyclic event coupled with 5 elements, right, giving you a total of 60 years for a full cycle. So there are 5 elements that have a different representation from the Chinese astrological cycle. 5 elements are fire, earth, water, gold or metal, and wood. Right, as you can see from this chart, there are certain events. These are the charts showing you significant events or major events that have repeated itself. All right, starting from 1916, right, which was in the middle of World War I, and the next 12 years was in 1928. It was just about the beginning of the Great Depression. Right. And World War II, of course, in 1940, the next cycle. Beginning of World War II, 1939 to 1945 was World War II. And the next cycle was in 1952. Significant events was Japan Peace Treaty, post-war economic boom in Japan, and the globe as well, globally as well. 1964, U.S. invasion of Vietnam. 1964 was the Tonkin Resolution. If you have heard of the Tonkin Resolution, that was where in the U.S. Congress empowered the president with full power to walk into Vietnam, and that's exactly what happened in 1964. All right, significant events. The next cycle, 1976, all right, was the Vietnam reunification after the fall of Saigon. All right. And as well as the major energy crisis. Another major event was the Tangshan earthquake in China. Tangshan earthquake was one of the most disastrous earthquake ever happening. One of the greatest disaster recorded in history, with more than 600,000 to 1 million casualties. The next cycle was in 1988, was the Middle East crisis. Starting from Hamas. Hamas was in fact started in 1987, or the first Ramadan war, they call it. And the next cycle was the second Intifada war, all right, Hamas war with Israel. Right. 2000 was the dot-com bubble, another major earthquake, Turkey earthquake, with 18,000 casualties. And the next cycle was 2012. If you remember Hurricane Sandy, one of the greatest hurricane disasters to hit the US, as well as the Euro debt crisis. 2012 was also the killing of another crisis in Middle East, with Israel and Palestine, where the military chief, or the Hamas military chief, was assassinated, and oil hit another high in 2012. Okay, next, of course, we are looking into 2024, the year of the wood dragon. Let's look at some significant events that has been happening during this cycle, some of the events that we recorded. We could not show you all the events, but these are the major events that we have highlighted. Let me just zoom in for you. We are looking into three areas here in this table: Malaysia, the world, and the financial market during this cycle. Let me just zoom in for you. Right. Of course, we will start from early years in this cycle. 1916, World War I, 1928, the Great Depression, of course, collapse of financial markets. And you will note something, discovery of penicillin. Why? Because in this cycle we note a lot of first medical breakthrough happening in this cycle. Right, so our expectation for 2024 is medical breakthrough. All right, we will come to it later. So let's just look at this. And World War II, within the same cycle of the dragon. All right. And the next cycle in 1952, Queen Elizabeth, first nuclear bomb detonated by US. US signed peace treaty with Japan. Here's the invention of the nuclear bomb detonated. Then in 1964, as you can see, US-Tonkin resolution that led to a full-scale war in Vietnam. Of course, a side note here, the Beatlemania invaded the US. Rolling Stone music also a lot of first here in this cycle. China tested their first atomic bomb, invented and tested. Nelson Mandela, South Africa, sentenced to life imprisonment, and assassination of JFK in November 22nd, 1963. You see, in the cycle we do, there's no absolute or clear boundary as an exact date. We also look into neighboring influence, the early few months and past few months, all right, where the influence of the cycle are there. Yeah, if I remember, I remember that Deng Xiaoping was also in this cycle. In one of the cycle, he's passed away in the dragon, one of the dragon years. Right, then the next cycle, 1976, energy crisis, OPEC, fall of Saigon. Next cycle, Middle East was founded, first Intifada war, or they call it the Ramadan war, against Israel by the Muslim Brotherhood. Medical breakthrough, laser cataract surgery was done. 2000, quite a significant year. First time we hear of DDoS virus attack targeting America on a mass scale. And also here, you remember the major peace talk initiated by Clinton in Camp David with Palestine and Israel broke down. The peace talk broke down and disintegrated into the worst violence at that point in time, also known as the Second Intifada War. Also in this year, another medical breakthrough, DNA sequencing was completed. Then in the last cycle, 2012, Obama re-elected as president for the second term, Putin elected president. All these people play a significant role in the cycle with war and peace, mostly war, not much peace we see here. Hamas military chief was killed. Another geographical event, major geographical event, Hurricane Sandy, one of the worst ever to hit. Right. Let's look at the financial market, starting from, all right, market crash that was in World War One, all right, Great Depression, no need to say, market collapse. End of Great Depression in the next cycle, all right, market crashed again by 30% in 1940, because of World War II, I guess. All right, this is post-war, golden age of economic boom. So here we see significant economic or financial market happening, events recorded here. All right, mostly negative, but here there's one positive. Market boom until for 20 years, market hit a new high from the 50s to the 70s. All right, the next cycle, this is the year of 64, S&P at an all-time high, US oil moderated. Oil has a significant event, mostly at a high in this cycle. Oil all-time high. This again due to the Middle East crisis that affected oil. Most of the time, the Middle East crisis, oil prices goes up. KLSE is a Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange. As I said, we do measure Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange. In December, this is the 1988. Of course, was the Asian financial crisis was 1997. All right, this is 1988 where we had our crisis, 1986, 1987. Yep. Sacking of the Lord President. The judiciary in Malaysia is in play, which I will show you later, in this crisis. Year 2000, the dot-com bubble, the KLSE lost 35%, KLSE, Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange in Malaysia, Dow Jones, new record, lost 1K to 650. Dow Jones has set a new record during this year, post-bubble. NASDAQ crashed from a high of 5K to 1.7K index. Oil price spiked to 59 in 2000 from a low of 23, almost doubling. Right, in the financial market, oil price again during this cycle is in 2012. All right, was at second highest point in history at US 145. NASDAQ hit highest since dot-com bubble, recovered, but loses 10% in a month. And the Eurozone debt crisis in 2012, where IMF was had to interfere and help a few countries that was insolvent. Right, let me just show you a bit. In Malaysia, we start 1940. Malaysia was already independence in the 57. Yeah. Japanese occupation, World War II, assassination of British High Commissioner Sir Henry Gurney in Fraser Hill. MCP is the Malaysia Communist Party at a point in time, 1952, during the Dragon Cycle, or the Water Dragon. 1964, the confrontation with Indonesia due to the federated Malaysia states, Sabah, Sarawak, Singapore, And also in this cycle, Tun Mahathir elected as MP for the first time, I think, in Al-Astar, and appointed to the UMNO Supreme Council in 1965. The next cycle saw the death of Tun Razak and Hussein On becoming the new PM. And Mahdi appointed his deputy. Right? See the significance of Mahdi in this cycle. No crisis or the constitutional crisis with the sacking of Lord President. Anwar was the Mahdi at that point in time, was the Minister of Education. Anwar was elected as 25th President of UNESCO International Conference. Anwar appointed President of IIUM, which is the International Islamic U, Malaysia. Next cycle, Anwar was sentenced to the first sodomy, to 9 years in prison. The financial market recorded, the local financial market, KLSE, Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange, or Bursa Malaysia, hit a high of 982 in February and fell to a low in December, right? And went further into 2001. All right, again, Anwar in play here with Sodomy 2. All right, where he was acquitted in 2012. But of course, the acquittal was overturned later on by the higher courts, and he went to prison as well. Right, these are some of the events that have happened. Let's look at the financial market. This is NASDAQ. Because in the year 2000 there was a major tech bubble. We see a replication of pattern here in 2024 and already happening. The NASDAQ hitting a new high, very high, above 15,000, highest ever, dropped fairly significantly, recovery. You see a resemblance of these two patterns coming into play. Right. Oh yeah, this is a monthly interval. The chart is a monthly interval over the years. And recorded in about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. This is in 2015, but I'll just check the latest chart. The pattern is still in play, right? So these are our expectations. We expect some kind of tech bubble happening, probably with AI, AI tech bubble, which has been overhyped, overplayed. Financial market went crazy with AI. Okay, this is the monthly federal Fed rates chart showing you in this cycle. The dragon cycle is either at the top or at the bottom, going down, starting from 64, 76, 88, year 2000. Of course, you remember the famous Fed chair Paul Walker from 1979 to 1987, where US was running high inflation from the 80s. Interest rate hit 20%, came down. So as you can see, this year also we are having, 2024, we are having one of the highest Federal Reserve rates in the decade or two. Right, we try to keep it brief. And from our findings, major events happening will be the Middle East crisis, repeating in every cycle, almost every cycle. Conflicts. We see trade war intensifying. We also see metal, mineral in play, gold, metal, rare earth. We see intense competitive war in relation to the trade war as well. I see increased Russia-Euro in play, weakening of Euro as well. Please note of a significant event in the geographical area where natural disruption have been recorded, a major catastrophe, one of the worst happening a lot in this cycle. We also see food disruption from climate influence, climate change. So if you have to travel for long, please check up on the weather. Local events, we see inflation rising, which is also repeated in the event, in the cycle, in previous cycles. We also see the fall of statesmen or leader. Moderate GDP growth, there will always be GDP growth where Malaysia is concerned. We have recorded most of the time in this cycle positive growth. And Malaysia, if we did earlier Tiger year of the Tiger, a short forecast for the year of Tiger, where Malaysia is set up in a new era, especially in politics and governance. All right, so we're beginning of a new era. We see a lot of obstacles in front, especially with reforms. In Malaysia, also the judiciary is in play in this cycle. So we are also expecting 2024 onwards, where the judiciary taking on a hard stance. All right. Financial markets, tech stocks, all right, as in from the dot-com bubble, you remember, rise in oil markets, interest rate, US, Euro. All right, most of our forecasts, you will see the accuracy in the financial markets. Right, from our 2020 COVID year, beginning of COVID forecast, which we broadcast live on Facebook. You will be able to see the repeated cycle of major economic crises during that time. Middle East crisis, Ukraine war, fight over control. There's been war, you remember Vietnam War, where from the Tonkin Resolution, USA sent in huge number of troops into Vietnam, right? And at the same time, in the same cycle, the fall of Saigon that led to reunification of Vietnam. In the next cycle, that was. Geography, some of the deadliest natural disasters were recorded in this cycle. Let me just zoom in a bit for you. Okay. Careful of harsh or extreme weather condition. Malaysia starting a new era. So a short note, global conflict increases, it's going to get worse. That's going to lead to other problems, possibly oil, I'm not sure, financial market disruption, climate disruption that's been recorded, like I said, climate, geographical interruption. Yeah, one good thing is the breakthrough in medicine. In this cycle, we have been seeing a lot of breakthrough in medicine. So we expect a major breakthrough in medical knowledge, 2024. I don't know, maybe with AI medicine, or Malaysia, local events, right? Economically, we also see for the region a collaboration in the south between Singapore, Malaysia, Johor, which is already happening, but we see Indonesia having a significant play in this as well, starting from 2024 onwards. Yeah, so we expect some kind of collaboration moving on forward in 2024 between Indonesia, Malaysia, especially Johor, and the Singapore, right? As you can see, there's also a lot of China influence in this region, right? which will be quite a major focus. Right. We hope that this forecast will keep you alerted of any possible risk or impending change that might happen in 2024, helps you provide for contingency planning. So I was asked this question from our previous COVID forecast on economy. Can the pattern change? Yeah, basically patterns do change. We have even seen it happening in patterns. As an example, when Singapore break out from Malaysia, everything changes. They set on a new pattern. They set on mostly on a new way of doing things and went on an ascending cycle. If you look at the Singapore chart, they have been ascending every cycle. They have been going up and up and up. So can things change? Yeah. Why do things repeat itself? Because the world is doing things the same all over again. So yeah, you will be expecting the same result. Has the world changed in the way that they do things? Has the political system changed? No, they have been the same. In most part of the world, it's the same way of doing things all over again. All right. Okay, we thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please do send us an email. You can find us here. If you wish to reproduce any of these presentations, please do, but give us a link back, give us some credit, yeah. And do stay tuned on our channel. Subscribe to our video. Our next outlook will be probably market outlook, mostly for Malaysia, and other videos that we will be generating much more frequently. Right. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel here. Thank you for watching. Terima kasih.